This log is 18 foot long, and what I need is, I need 20 2x10's, 16 foot long. So whenever I go on something like this and I do the roll it, the not round outfit, the second cut is going to be the cut that ends up on the bunk, because I rotate it one time. It is nice rotating it twice, but when you're talking about something long and all like that, the fewer times you can rotate it, the better off you are. And you can really, you can line that up square. You get to where you got a darn good eye as far as lining it up square. If you can line it up square, there's no real need in flipping it an unnecessary number of times. So getting back to this cut here will be thinner than any other one. And the reason is I'm going to consider all this waste anyway. So the higher I can get up off the bunk flat, really, the better. So once I flip it one more time and I cut this side, I'll end up probably with a 12 by 12, a 12 by 10, which would be about right here. So I should be able to get 4, maybe at the most 5 2x10's out of there, 16 foot long, because I'll end up cutting off 2 foot on the end down there. But the next cut, I will cut hard. I cut hard on this side. You can see how hard I cut. I'm going to cut hard on this side. And this side right here, it might appear that I cut hard, but actually I didn't. If you look on down there, you can see how it kind of pales out. I cut just enough so I could be flat on every single bunk. And then from that point on, I'll get it squared up. And this right here, this 2 inches right here, is going to basically be firewood by the time I'm done. Well, it didn't work out like I was hoping, and that's quite often the case. I wasn't able to get a 12 by 12 out of it. All I could get was 11 by 11, and even still, you can see I'm not square into the heartwood yet. I still got one more to take off before I'm square into the heartwood. Now that end 2 feet down there don't matter, because it's 18 foot long and all I need is 16. But I'll still be able to get probably maybe 4 out of it. I can't get 5, but I can get 4, I think. But I was hoping for 5. And I'll have a little bit of, I don't want to call it waste, but I'll have to trim them up a lot, some up. And that's okay, because those boards that I trim up, I can use them. I like using, because they're going to end up being wider than what I need. I rather use oak stickers than pine. Oak, I'll take those oaks and put them up over there in the saw shop in the attic. Put them up there for 2 or 3 months. They'll be dry as dust. And oak to me just seems to do better than pine. So I have a need for it. It's not going to go to waste, but it's also not going to work out exactly like I thought. And these here, I'll be able to come through and strip out probably 6 inches in the center of this one and this one. And this is just a 1 by. And but I'll be able to strip out 6 inches in the center, and I can use that for something else. While ago, I went to turn this thing, and you see how my pin is missing? If this thing comes out, when you go to turn it, it's going to tilt, that whole deal. So make sure you don't do like me and lose your pins. I don't know where that Carter pin went, but I got to put it back in. Because it's a pain to be rolling some big old gigantic log and that thing right there kick up. And when it kicks up, you can just about hang it up. And I didn't want to suggest a while ago about rolling the log more times than not. Oak log 18 foot long, as long as it's under 20 inches, That's not that hard to roll. I don't want to make it sound like it's going to kill you to roll it manually too. Now you can see I'm using a can hook. It's not that hard to roll. You can roll it. But I still don't want to roll something no more than I absolutely have to, unless there's a good reason. And in a situation like this, there's just not a good reason for me to roll it extra times. But that right there, I need to put a Carter key in it and bend the tar out of it or something, or nail or something, so it won't come out. That'll mess you up. A while ago, when I was talking about not being hard rolling a 18-foot oak, 20 inches, 24 inches, something like that, it's really not. It's not all that hard to roll it. Turn it on the mill. What is hard, and what you're probably going to end up needing help, is that when you start taking them doggone boards, especially 2x11's, 18-foot long. I got one over there, but I figure I'd wait for some help. Those things are heavy. You will probably need help on a oak board that size. Pine, you might, but oak, probably going to need some help. Or either you're just going to be tying a rope to it and dragging it. I ended up with 4 of those, 2 1x8s, and those things there, for whatever they're worth. They're 3 inches and 1x3s. And out of that log, which, I'm going to be satisfied. Now, I'm not going to cut these to length. I only need like 2 foot too long. But I'm not going to cut them to length, and I'm not going to trim them down to 10s. And let them dry just like that. I'll stack them over there with the rest of them. I got a bunch over there now. I'll stack them over there with the rest of them, let them dry, and then I'll come back, and you can see where I can take off 1 inch, right through there. I'll trim this 1 inch, and it'll be 2x10's in, and I'll be in good shape. And also, I'll wash this mill down. If you look, you can see how black the rails are over there. See how pretty and clean these are? That's from oak sawdust. I used to have a bad habit, because I didn't know no better. I would cut oak, and I would just leave it over there, the sawdust. It wouldn't be much, but it don't take much. And it rust and stain that stuff, and it don't really bother me that much, to be honest with you. But I still wash it down now, and just makes me feel better. And it will make your log dogs and rests and all like that last longer. I know it will, because that stuff eat them up. If you know anybody that traps, whenever you trap, I'm talking about the conibear traps now. Conibears, you always want to boil them, especially if they're brand spanking new. You want to get that grease off. But even in the 5 years after you've been using them, you still want to boil them, clean them up. And usually they have store-bought stuff, but you can also use elderberries. We got elderberries around here, but in my backyard I got walnuts, and that you can't beat that. You just boil up some walnuts, dunk those traps in there, and it'll turn them black just like that. You could also do the same thing. You boil up a mess of that doggone oak sawdust, it'll turn them black. But anyway, I think I'm going to give these things a few hours to dry out. Maybe they'll be lighter. Be a little easier to carry over and stack. I'm not sure. I'll find out then.